Hey, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So, just kind of curious, like what attracted you to channeling, right? Because that's kind of an unusual thing.
Yeah, well, like we were chatting just before, I have friends who do like a different style of channeling, and I grew up a lot, well, sort of. Well, I suppose I could say grew up more so from like high school with a very spiritual people on my boyfriend's side of the family, and then
Oh.
on like my auntie was a healer, and then my ex-boyfriend's family were healers, and so it sort of brought me back into light of it all, and it felt so natural. I always felt so drawn towards it, and I've always been someone that's always followed what just feels right or what feels exciting. And that's
Mm.
actually how I ended up doing my running full time. Was I just had this inner voice that was like, you need to quit your job and just run full time and go for the Olympics. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And people were like, are you kidding? Like, what are you going to do for money? I was like, I don't know. And so I've always been really attracted to either following that part of myself or wanting to improve it for myself. And so I'm really attracted to finding like-minded people or just people that can assist my own growth and development. And then when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, you're like my new best friend. Let's do this.
Oh, that's really amazing. I didn't know that. Yeah, like um I did have a student a long time ago that was a professional golfer. I was like, wow, like I don't know a lot of athletes in my own life, but I find it just so amazing. Like he would get up at 6 a.m. to practice, like he would be at the golf course at 6 a.m. He would practice from 6 a.m. to like 3 p.m. I'm like, this is so crazy. Like it's a world I totally know nothing about. Um, so I'm so curious as to, um, as you studied the course material a little bit and asked the guys questions, like, in what ways did you feel like it helped you?
At the like from the instant when we started, it was it was very eye-opening in the way of this, just the simplicity of the way that you ask questions. And just the way that you had explained the Akashic records being like the library, and then all these analogies with cooking. And for me, I'm so black and white. If someone doesn't give it to me literally this way or that way, I'll be sitting there going, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. It's the same with every aspect, I feel like, in my life. So of how simple you made everything, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try this and I'm going to write this down. And it just felt easy to take things away from. I didn't feel like I had to rewatch stuff to then pick up on anything. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you were a very good student too. Like you asked the guides questions, and then they would teach you, and then you actually implement it, right? So how did
Yeah.
that affect like your physical performance after that?
Well, there was this one session that we had that I was leading up to one of my last competitions of the season, and I really wanted to break a time barrier. It's like, Solera, can you ask the guides how the hell I can do this? And the guides had given some like just some really simple ways of different ways to ask questions. And you had said it was like putting together a puzzle and literally coming from different angles. And the way that I had been, because I always have asked questions, or at least for the last 3 years, but I didn't think of it in the way that you'd suggested it or the guide suggested it. And so it was coming at me with all these different angles, and it gave me all these different areas to think of for asking new questions, and new questions that I never asked before. And so then there was this one day I went to the track and I asked different questions and tried asking all these questions from other angles and areas. And then I had this little, I kind of feel like it's someone speaking to me when I hear guidance, and it was just like, try this and do this. And I was like, okay. And I started doing it and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm on the right track. And then on my last rep, I hit in the 3 seconds. So it was for 30 meters. And it was just a time that I'd been looking for. I mean, I've been running for 10 years and I hadn't hit that time in 10 years.
Oh my
And it was something that my coach was like, we need to get you running this time if you want to be able to do this. And I was like, I'm trying, but I don't know what else to do. And then, you know, for me, it wasn't about pushing harder or training harder, because I didn't have anything else that I could do differently with my, with my physical ability. It was literally just about opening up my consciousness to receive a different strategy for the same input of effort, I suppose you could say. And so then when I'd asked those different questions, and then when I crossed the line and I saw the time, I was like, yes, I'm going to ask these questions every day.
Oh my gosh. So did you share with your coach? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't share that. I said I asked lots of different questions this time and something was different. And he was like, yes, you're ready. And I was like, I know that, but whatever, you didn't understand.
Yeah, you didn't tell him, oh yeah, I went to ask the guides,
I know.
A person named Solera and she channeled it.
But you know what's really interesting? So my coach went to the Olympics and he got to the Olympics without a coach. And when people asked him, how did you get there? And he said, I was taught in my sleep what to do. So he would wake up and write his program, and that's how he got there. Yeah.
And he didn't know.
Yeah. And so that's how he normally gives my sessions, the same. And yeah, so everything that he did, he only did because he wrote it down from his dreams.
So crazy. Oh my
God. So I'm always inspired by all that stuff. I'm like, if he can do it, I can totally do it.
Yes. And do you find that it's easier now for you to just ask the right questions? And
a lot. Not just with my running. My last race I ran, it was my season's best time. It wasn't a record, but it was my season's best. And I had asked completely different questions. And also I remember the guides were saying the importance of focusing on the feeling.
Yeah.
And so I focused a lot on that in my last competition. And I said, like, I feel ready. I feel capable. I feel fast. I feel light. I feel full of energy. And I was just repeating that and then asking a few different questions. And that helped me a lot on that day. But even just before we jumped on our call, I was writing on my business stuff. I'm creating content for a new series in my membership for winter time. And I noticed that I was asking questions in a completely different way because I call it my Solera questions. And so I'm like, every morning I ask a Solera question when I wake up. And so I try and ask something different each day. And then every time I think of a Solera question, I'm like, okay, come from all angles. And yeah, I started doing that for working to create content for my winter series the same way. And so the questions that I've written were completely different than I was used to seeing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good to hear. That's amazing.
Yeah, so cool.
I'm really happy. Yeah, I think once you open up your mind, Ollie is singing this.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. I have a lot of moms. I always hear noises in the background. Yeah, and that's okay. If you want, he can even come and say hello.
He does it on purpose every time I'm on a call.
No worries.
I'm not kidding. He's quiet until I'm on a call.
You can just get him to come. Maybe he just needs some attention.
Ollie, come.
We will give him.
Ollie, do you want to come? Just come. Come. Yeah, come and say hi. Come on. You better be quick, otherwise time will be gone.
Ollie, you want to show everybody your new suit? So you're on video right now, and you can show everybody your new gecko suit. How cool is that? Where's your hat? Yeah, okay, you want to put that on and show people also? Yay, that's so cute. You know what? This video is going to be forever. So 10 years from now on, people are still going to be seeing your gecko suit. You look so cute. Thank you for showing us. Thank you. You look great. Well, thank you so much. No, yeah, this is really amazing. I'm really happy that the channeling is getting easier, and then it's able.
And I go through my notes a lot. Like I took so many notes every class, and I go through and go through my notes a lot.
Yeah.
And like I have an alarm in my phone that says ask a Solera question. My phone goes off at a particular hour. I'm like, oh, what am I going to ask?
It's awesome. And
And
to be really honest, like channeling is like anything else, right? It's a form of discipline. You know, it's
yeah,
not serious, but it's like a form of discipline. And if you apply it and then it becomes like just a habit, right? It becomes like a habit to challenge your brain to ask different questions, challenge your brain to think differently, to just ask your mind to like stretch the consciousness so that you realize, oh yeah, being in the Olympics is going to be in your reality. And once you believe that, that's going to be in your reality. You know, it doesn't matter if it's like a business success for you, it's sports running time for other people, it could be just parenting, you know, like whatever that challenge is, it's kind of the same. So, oh, I'm so happy. And thank you so much for sharing your experience.
that's okay. I'm just learning how to apply it like to just other areas, not just, for me, it's easy to apply it to things that I find easy.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like I find it easy to ask questions and to then go and apply it for my running. And then a little bit, it's easy-ish for my business stuff. But then when it comes to like being a mom or relationship stuff, that's when I know I need to practice even more.
Yeah.
And open up that side more, because those are the areas I know don't come as natural or
Naturally.
easy, so
Yeah.
it is easy obviously to apply it to something that is easy already,
Right.
but I think it's even more important to do it for the things that aren't too, so then those things do become easier, I guess.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate you talk about it because it's true. Because like the areas that are challenging, sometimes we don't want to look at them, you know.
Yeah.
But it's precisely because they're challenging, like you need to be looking at them. I think the biggest growth for me is actually it always comes from like relationship, like the stuff that I don't understand, you know, that like really triggers me. Like that's when I grow the most. But you know, the guys are like in my face, so I kind of have to just just like learn because they're like nudging me. So, but yeah, but once I look at the challenging areas and just like face them and then ask the guys the proper questions, and then I feel like, oh, it's not as hard. Like the things that really trigger me at the moment, they would just say like two things to me, and I'd be like, oh, okay, it's not that hard, you know, because I'm also a student, right, of the guy, so I'm learning as I go. And sometimes I'll get so triggered by somebody or by my boyfriend. And then they would just say, like, you know what, you're just projecting. But they say it in such a nice way. They're like, you know, you're just projecting. I thought, yeah, okay, fine. Just, you know.
Not that-
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much. I'll conclude our interview so you can go back to Ollie.